difference between us is that I can feel pain.
Sounds like a real boogeyman. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy.
There's someone else in the hotel.
Okay, so you Pumpkin Hill. Okay.
Nah, it's Pumpkin Hill Radio. Pumpkin Hill Radio. Pumpkin Hill Radio.
Pumpkin Hill Radio.
It's got a death curse.
This isn't science. It's more like black magic.
Their specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper.
Hey. Hey, man.
Episode 100.
Yeah. Whoa, huh?
Hello, my night owl, our night owl friends.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start including you on that.
Yeah.
You are sitting in the room with us. I am Travis Wormwood. That's Dawson Trailer. We are your paranormal expert hosts at Pumpkin Hill Radio. We have reached episode 100. We are reaching expert level. We just still
highly
know,
advanced.
We still know that we know enough to know nothing.
Yeah, I don't know anything, dude.
But join us today on our episode 100. We're bringing in a third digit.
Yeah,
It's going to affect the titles a little bit.
Taking up more space.
Just based on the number being there.
Titles are always changing.
Now, Dawson, we've doing a little bit about hyping the episode 100 up.
Yeah.
I think we're going to break down the door here and tell you what we're doing. This is going to... Let's sit here for a second in this episode 100 madness. Even before I explain what the hell we're doing here, I gotta say a huge thank you to the listeners.
Yeah.
Listeners, I don't even know how you're
hanging out here for
It's crazy that you're here with us.
What are you doing?
We sit in a room, we get the monthly numbers, and we sit in a room with many people here.
Yeah.
It is astounding. I can't believe y'all are listening. We both really appreciate it. We both been putting in a lot of work for a lot of time now, and there's like some tangible results just into seeing what we have accomplished here and how much more we have to do. I'm very excited about the next 100 and the next 1,000.
Yeah. Next
We're on the road to 1,000 now, I hope you know.
Yeah.
No,
that is the next big milestone.
I just want to say, thanks to everybody, all the listeners, casual listeners. If you're listening once, this is your first time. If you've been here since day one or somewhere in the middle, I really appreciate that. We both really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Patrons, especially on our patreon.com/Pumpkin Hill Radio, you can join the Patreon, and for just $5 a month, you can get over 50 hours of bonus content. We add more every month, so go check that out. But hey, don't even worry about that right now. You're in it for this episode 100 ride.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out what we could do. Some big blowout. Immediately I'm like 9/11. I'm like JFK. Right. I'm like there's some big ones.
All these thoughts, all these topics, right? What do we do?
And I think, and I know we will get there. Yeah. But we've been circling this whole magical realm for a while now, covering different, really laying out some groundwork for a larger study.
Secret government.
Yeah.
Magic.
And we've kind of been all over with it. And I decided that I wanted to, with the first, maybe honestly, like dozen episodes here, I wanted to tell kind of a story with a through line. Which I think you'll be able to jump on at any point. So no worries if you hear just on the last one. But
it's all going to be standalone topics, but it all ties in. And it's probably best just to start from the top.
Yes, because the topic at hand is, at first it was like a look at the Cold War's psychic warfare. Mm-hmm. Then I wanted to grow it out a little bit more and kind of see where that dipped into in the more present times, and then also the more past times. Yeah. All of a sudden you're dealing...
where did that come from?
Where does it all sprout from, right? Like, how do we tell the best story with this to, like, get you this knowledge that I want to teach and learn myself, really? Yep. We're learning it all together. It's like just like a mad dash to try to get these notes in fast enough for these episodes, right? But I think this is going to be the deepest dives we've ever done here on Pumpkin Hill Radio. This is going to be the most thoroughly. We investigate individual people and like individual events and operations throughout history.
Projects.
We decided today we're going to start on an extremely important figure to just magic in general, Madame Helena Blavatsky.
Yep. We've mentioned her a lot.
We've brought her up a lot.
Come up a lot. It's time just to like really get into it. Get the context fully laid out.
Yes, we figure that's a great starting point. In the she's born in 1831. Yeah, and obviously you can go back further than that.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, this is just a good starting point in the quote unquote like modern world to explore spiritualism. We'll go through today and see how she went and studied all these older texts to bring things in and combine a lot of things from different. She studied all over the world.
Everywhere.
She went literally everywhere.
So like before she was like a full like adult. She was like, she came to America.
Yes.
She went all over Europe.
She went
everywhere.
So she was able to discover a lot and learn a lot. And being and
that was
honestly,
like her mission was like
being a woman in that time sucked. So the fact that she was able to do this much is just astounding, and it speaks to her character. And she does get into kind of the weeds with some stuff. She has to end up, as we go, she has to end up defending some things that she doesn't necessarily believe in to help her stand on other events. You know, there's some real chaos magic working here.
There's some contradictions.
Yes. We'll see,
but everyone does. That's like the paradox of the reality.
It's the magical paradox. A lot of times, these people that are in it for the long run of trying to really put their mark on magic, you need to create basically like a tulpic version of yourself to step into at some point, right? You have to create this illusion of who you are that you then become, and it kind of sheds some of your past life away, and that kind of people can see that as one way or another. It's extremely chaos magic coded in the end.
How many times is there like some sort of like philosopher or intellectual or like whatever scientist where their first writings and you compare it to like later in their life how they kind of contradict each other. Seems like they like flip-flop. It's like, well, they just didn't have the full picture.
Yes,
they're constantly developing. That's
constantly
like the people like are actually doing the work, figuring shit out, getting to the bottom of it.
So with that being said, we are going to dig into Helena Blavatsky. I think right off the bat I do want to say she always gets brought up with like Hitler. I think that's how we brought her up a lot of times. She has her own stories to tell. Hitler pulled a lot of random things from her ideas and cherry picked and made this horrible thing. So it's kind
of like, that's like where the idea for like the swastika comes from.
Yeah. Just these
She's getting into that like Tibetan
gets into some Aryan stuff at some point, but at that point it's not talking about any sort of white race. It's actually talking about like a possibly gray-skinned race, aka like aliens, and it can get taken. We'll get there when we get there.
With the Aryan too, it's like it goes like people think they're like Iranian.
Yeah, there's a that's like
stuff.
Honestly,
like
we'll probably
it's so hard to understand what they're even talking about.
I think we'll get more into that honestly when we get to the Nazi magic side of things, and if probably like 5 or 6 episodes from now, as we kind of step through history. Because we're going to cover some mainstays. We'll probably end up doing. I think we might have to touch on Aleister Crowley and maybe Rasputin, at least some degree. I don't want to necessarily bring in all of Russian history and oligarchy into this, but it's going to have to be somewhere, right? This is, like I said, a deeper dive.
We could do like a episode where we,
yeah.
So
we're going to try to just run through these first couple episodes in the 100s with a consistent story on like just psychic, just like magic, just straight up magic. How you want to see it. Taught through a lot of different ways.
Esoterica, occultism.
Yes, occultism is the word here today.
Secret knowledge.
And we might sprinkle some random little cryptids or goofy reports in the middle just to give you some fluff. I don't want to blow
we might just need our own like little palate cleanser to like research something else.
But I do want to welcome everybody in that's listening. Yes. I think if you are coming in, even at a future date now, and you see that this is like a part 1 of something, you're probably starting here. So what's up to y'all? I hope you enjoy this journey. If not, and you kind of worked your way backwards through it, it probably still makes sense. Because these are all just individual people's stories, right? Let's just get a base here. I think that, and also, horror this week was just saying thank you to everybody. That's kind of what it is. We have lots of cool stuff in the works coming up, so just stick with us.
I do know there's like the rabbits growing tentacles on their face.
Yes.
In Colorado, there's like that. I don't really know what else to go about that. Just wanted to mention it.
Sometimes that's just more sad.
I know people are going to be like, people have already been asking me about it. They're like, what do you think? I'm like,
we've been hearing about it.
Like, well... It's Cthulhu and the old gods.
It's the old gods coming.
it's horrors beyond our imagination.
So, Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, born in 1831, often referred to by her initials HPB, remains one of the most polarizing and influential figures in history of modern Western esotericism. Born in the Russian Empire during a period of political conservatism and spiritual upheaval, Blavatsky emerged as a self-proclaimed mystic, philosopher, and teacher whose works and activities helped shape the late 19th century occult revival and everything after that.
That spiritualist movement.
Yes. Her contributions, both celebrated and condemned, positioned her as a bridge between Eastern religious philosophy and Western esoteric traditions at a time when global spiritual exchange was rare and often met with skepticism. Okay? before we even get into her life starting as a kid, I just want to lay out some stuff about, so we know who we're talking about, right?
Yeah, yep.
She has a couple different like principal works that she wrote throughout her life. We have one called Isis Unveiled, and then another called The Secret Doctrine. These are regarded as foundational texts in the Theosophical movement. Theosophy is basically a whole construct that she built. She doesn't really ever want anything to do with like cults or groups. She loves like collecting orders and societies to be in, but then like when she's in them, she hates all the meetings and all that shit. She just wants to be like.
I know for a while she was like trying to create like a brotherhood, which is insane for a woman. Especially in that time to be like, I'm creating a brotherhood of this like spiritualism. And
we'll get into it. She creates a few different ones that some of them take. Some of them are still around today. So she, within these books, this is a 2-volume reinterpretation of religion and science, introducing a cosmology in which ancient wisdom was presented as the key to reconciling apparent contradictions between faith and reason. Kind of like what we try to talk about all the time, kind of what that intersection is. She also wrote, within the Secret Doctrine, the Secret Doctrine, that's like her magnum opus. That's the one that just, and honestly, it makes almost no sense. There's actually a separate book that she wrote that is like kind of the key for how to read this other book. It's one of those. It's the classic, as we talk about so often here. Yeah. With esoteric.
Anytime you're reading
grimoires,
like the grimoires, you're like, this is.
It's all coded, right?
This seems like nonsense the way they're saying this.
So she drew upon Hinduism, Buddhism, Western mystical sources, everything. We'll see. She traveled literally everywhere. Yeah. And it's a super dense arcane style work that is super challenging to read. I have some pieces here I might read later. It's like insane to dig into. That's what she like worked with though. She also built all these different societies that we'll see how they grow later on. And yeah, she kind of introduced this idea. She brought this into idea of the hidden masters into the world, where she's getting this information from people who she says are real, but I think she also said that they live through all time. They're the kind of these people we talk about who maybe are like ageless, or these sages that seem to have ascended. These ascended masters. Ascended masters.
Count Saint Germain kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Where they're just like come in and out and they like counsel powerful people and then kind of disappear.
And we have a few different ones in here. It is just important to note, like, it's hard to pin down where they actually are, although I do believe they exist in some form, even if it's like a tulpic form, where just over her wife of esoterica, she's developed these things that are now autonomous from herself, these thought forms that now move independently, right?
Yeah.
That's very possible. And again, she is did kind of help induce some of this like Nazi occultism and but a lot of other stuff too. I mean, it's she goes on to inspire like Aleister Crowley, Mahatma Gandhi. Fucking picked up some ethical philosophy from her. David Bowie is like pulls from this shit. So it's like just to talk about like influential figures. They're all pulling from this thing, right? And she really
like these are like powerful people too. Power people with like influence.
Yeah, and she brought like if you're doing yoga here in the West, like she brought that here. She brought this new age movement basically in the early 1800s. Super hard to get this shit through like the Christian censorship and everything at the time.
It's just so foreign.
Yeah, it's so foreign
like, for it to like come in and people to actually, because like something that like alien at that time is like, what do you? No, I'm not going to do yoga. I'm a frontiersman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. Like now it's a little easier to push.
We're fighting in the Civil War. Like, I'm not going to do yoga.
You want to hit some yoga up quick? Talk about chakras. It's like, what are you talking about?
No.
Get out. Yeah. So that's who she's come.
I have dysentery.
And then we find that a lot of her contemporaries are just these kind of like weirdos. You know, it's like everybody just kind of, you kind of got to be on this weirder side like us. You know, it's just like they just are. They're definitely our kin, which is it's nice to see. These people they're here throughout time. It's just easier than ever for us to access this stuff. So I think it's our obligation to really get to know all these people that went through these kind of magical struggles in the past. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to know like the most like powerful influencers in history. So I want to know what's going on. What were they reading? What were they getting from it?
Yes, and I think we'll give a lot of good examples of books to dig into, or just places to start anyway.
Yeah.
It's gonna do it. Let's talk about her. Like, her being a kid. All right. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky was born on August 12th, 1831. Literally 3 days ago was her birthday upon recording. Yeah. So nice. This is kind of in the realm. A Leo queen, huh? Total Leo queen. We'll see that again and again. And she's actually, she's not this like super like flamboyant Leo, but she has this sort of glamour to her where she's just like an attractant. And we'll see that she's not necessarily beautiful or anything like that. She just has this
fire.
She has this, yes, which
a bit of that spark, you know, of like, I'm going to just do what I want to do. F you.
She was born in the city of Yekaterinov. Now it is called Dnipro, Ukraine. Then it was a part of the Russian Empire. Her birth occurred when within a complex socio-political landscape where the influence of the Russian Orthodox Church was pervasive, yet aristocratic families often prided themselves on cosmopolitan education and exposed to European intellectual currents. The intersection of religious orthodoxy, aristocratic privilege, and exposure to diverse ideas would occur just like throughout her life. And right there, let's just say that she does have some family privilege. She's from she has, we'll kind of talk about it here, but she has some nobility in her family, which grants her access to being able to move a little more freely.
Well, that's like the theme with a lot of these people is like they're like pretty like they have like the privilege of like going down these avenues.
And we'll find
pretty cool.
As her work goes further, it's kind of alongside her that this spiritualist movement comes up in the early 1900s, and even before that, and that is a lot of people that are not from like very wealthy circumstances, like trying to get into this
it became more of like a well-known thing because even like in like the 1800s, knowing how to read was like not everyone. It was like not very common.
So
you know
a lot of the like spiritualist stuff was very like party trick oriented, you know, like getting your friends together, getting your family together to like see this thing, and it's some of them were obviously faked and like very you know, you have somebody under the table like knocking stuff around, and there's somebody on the other side of the wall turning the lights off and that all kind of comes out of this stuff, right? But that is like to say like there is this inherent need for like not need, but the wealth and occult stuff has just been together for all time since like Egyptian times and onward. Even now we talk about how like leadership has these like secret wizards working for them and stuff. You kind of you're able to buy into this stuff where
like the like parties they go to, the like rituals they're doing, like the Bohemian Grove stuff, like those are like occult rituals they're doing. Like it's not just like, oh, it's like a weird like frat party. It's like, well, if you look into it too, it's like a lot of like frat and like sororities, that those like things, even just the names of them, you know what I mean? It's like these, it's like this like cult, like I don't know. There's something like it's like a ritual, you know.
Well, and
so like hazing is, it's like
right. Well, I think we'll see
rituals and stuff
as we go through this. It's like you do have this like break where all of a sudden the magic is going more public in a way.
Yeah.
Like for the longest time, it's like the peasant does not know of this. You know, you're looking.
They don't
at
have time.
Like medieval,
they need to be worked, and they're struggling to survive.
And at some point, we have these societies that are trying to keep all this stuff. Like the Order of the Golden Dawn wants to retain all this information. These people that don't really want it to go out to the common folk, for it might water this magic down. If you think it's like a resource that could be like drained, right?
Yeah. Or if you think too, if it's like something, if it is like this powerful thing, it's like. You don't want it just going to like any peon because they're going to just like really flip the fucking table over.
Yeah. So it's kind of always retained. And so we'll see that Madame Blavatsky is one of these people that is really trying to bring it to the public. And she's saying, I will teach you this if you want to put in the work to learn. She's not turning down anybody. The whole like the Theosophies like doctrine or the mission statement or whatever, even today is like talking about how people of all race and color and creed can like come to do this, and like in the early 1800s, that's like an insane thing to be like postering out there. It's very progressive in that time, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. Blavatsky's lineage connected her to both the Russian nobility and an intellectual tradition. Her father, Colonel Peter von Hahn, was a noble German Baltic descent and served as an officer in the Russian army. Her mother, Helena Andreevna Fedeva, was a writer known for her romantic novels and contributions to Russian literary circles. The maternal side of her family was especially influential. Her grandfather, Andrei Fadyev, held a prominent position in the Russian civil service, and her grandmother was known for her interest in folklore and the supernatural. So you kind of have two sides of the family right away. One of them's like giving you this political creed, and the other one's like folklore.
A little more creative side.
That Russian old folklore, that scary shit. I mean, there's...
Well, her mother was like a writer, too. It's like...
Mm-hmm.
There's like a creative aspect.
I don't know if I have it in the notes, but it's like her family, they grew up... One of these old Russian traditions that like her grandma believed in was that there was this little like elf troll guy living behind their stove. Mm-hmm. And I guess that one of those lives in every house and you have to like satiate him. That's like kind of just like the world that she's grown up in. It's like half fairy tale, half real, but it's like, it is real. It's all real. Yeah. Yeah.
That's like, there's like traditions that go back to like, you cook a meal in a pot, you leave like a portion there.
Hey, we talked
like
about
ancestors or the ghosts
on New Year's.
Or like
Christmas
whatever
Eve.
These like entities are, you like leave it there.
Mm-hmm. It's just a part of the movement of the world at that
Throw
point.
it outside, you know what I mean? Like
Blavatsky's childhood was marked by frequent occasions due to her family's military service. She spent time in Ukraine, Russia, and the Caucasus, regions rich with local legends, shamanic traditions, and folk beliefs. Mm-hmm. The atmosphere of her early years was steeped in storytelling, religious rituals, and encounters with beliefs outside of the mainstream Orthodox canon.
Yeah.
She's kind of in that fringe class, and she has this privilege to do so, right?
Also, like, growing up traveling like that, like, of course, like, Russia and Germany are, like, super far, and we don't think of them as that much different, but, like, especially in those times, customs are so different.
Traveling.
Even now, it's like, they're still vastly
different
cultures, but it's like, it was much different then.
That travel is brutal. She does so much of it too.
Yeah.
So there's like all these accounts.
It's just going to open your mind. You're going to see so many different perspectives, and you're going to start creating your own like, worldview from that.
Yeah, and she builds a whole magic system out of like just seeing everything. She like takes in everything, and she's like, "All right, let me sit down and do this." She accounts from her youth, many originating from Blavatsky herself or from different theosophical sources, described her as an unusual and headstrong child. She was said to have exhibited strong psychic abilities such as clairvoyance and telepathy from a young age. Right. Just like classic psychic child shit going on here. This is again, this is also stuff that she was saying. So it's like, I believe it's true, but I also believe this is her creating this version of herself that she can step into later, right? You got to walk that line.
Yep. Whether that's like what she knows what she's doing or not. Mm-hmm. I think just like getting like in like having the idea that that's like a thing even, and then just being like, yeah, I'm doing that.
I'm doing that at an early age is something. It's like she had to
There's something to it.
And we'll see that there is accounts that we'll talk about later on that she is doing this shit. She's fucking moving this stuff across the table. She's doing these things that it's...
Yeah.
There's ways to fake it, but I don't think that she was. I think that she had some contemporaries that were, but it's
mm-hmm.
I think that she did have these powers, right? In keeping with social status, Blavatsky received an education that combined formal instruction with strong emphasis on self-dictated learning. So she was reportedly able to learn multiple languages, like fluent in French and English and some degree of Sanskrit.
Damn.
She's pulling that one. You want the ancient tongue.
That's insane.
Yeah. She's grabbing the Sanskrit. She in her early life, she's just trying to read as many religious texts and occult literature as possible from that early age. That's how you do it. You hit it young. Like I feel very good that I was able to find this stuff when I was fairly young because it was, you kind of steep yourself in it for long enough and you start to understand it. It's hard to break that wall down when you're like 40. Although I invite everybody to do so. It is.
Oh yeah, great. I mean you can always get into it, but
time.
I think like having it as like in like the background while you keep learning other things, you can start like piecing things together better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have a more like context to things.
So she grew up in this household with all these books that her mother was writing and her mother was bringing all these things in. So she had access to this and different libraries and places where her mother was studying. And she was able to grab these like complex philosophical subjects and really like relate to these things. And she kind of kept going with that her whole life. It's reminding me of when we talked about that serial killer, Dr. Swango, and how like really early in his life he was collecting like car crash reports and pictures
very
and stuff.
Meticulous. It's like obsessed.
Yeah, obsessed. Like it's like she's kind of doing the same thing but with like magical shit and not like murdering shit. So good.
Yeah, not like dead.
Yeah. But I can see it too. It's like, okay, well that guy became like this crazy serial killer. It's like if you put in the work early and you keep on doing it, you build something
too, like
out.
I mean, depending it's all like, like there's like a nature nurture kind of a thing. There's like people because there's probably plenty of people that like had this inclination to like look into this stuff, were interested in it, but it wasn't like supported by their family. They didn't have time for it, or like whatever. It got shut down.
Back in
like
those
she
days,
had like a pretty like open-minded and like moving family, so it was like she was able. It was like nurtured, you know what I mean?
And even then, it's still so much pushback from society. It's not like today where you're just fighting back with your mom. It's like this whole like the orthodoxy, the state is coming at you with this shit. But she was able to
even just finding this stuff is like, yo,
she was nurtured.
Because like
sadly, her mother did die when she was 11, and it kind of she seems to carry that like morale, that like dark demeanor with her like forevermore. You know,
it's gonna scar you.
Stories circulate in later years of Blavatsky's uncanny childhood experiences. We said, but she's having these visions, prophetic dreams. Again, she'd have. Let's see. I guess that's because her family's position was like that. And it wasn't only like literature, but they'd bring you bring in like a traveler. There'd be like a mystic going town to town, and it's like they're gonna visit this like. This man in power to like talk to him, right? You're gonna get these people from like Islamic mysticism were coming in to like stop in there at the same time that this like Russian Orthodoxy was in place. Different like religious leaders were coming through. Very like just like getting that download super early, right? In 1849, at the age of 17, Helena married for the first time. She marries Nikifor Blavatsky. And that's where she picks up Blavatsky from. It's a much older vice governor of the Yerevan province. This is present-day Armenia. The marriage was short-lived and reportedly never consummated. Basically, she doesn't like sex. She's like, or maybe it's not even that she doesn't like it, because she does talk about masturbating once in a while. And she likes getting off, but this like carnal pleasure, she like sees it as like a lower movement. You know, it's like such a it's like one of your basic. It's an animalistic thing, right? And and so this like celibacy that she kind of.
Well, that's like herself. I mean that's like the same thing with like priests and monks. Like they're like I'm gonna retain.
Yes, so
which is powerful.
Every time that she ends up getting married, she is like, we're not doing it though. We're not having sex. We're not having sex.
I'm not having your children. Sorry.
Within months, she left her husband, embarking on a period of extensive and poorly documented travel. This is where we get some of her own documentation later on, that it's like, take it with as much or as little as you want. I tend to believe all this stuff. We're here on Pumpkin Hill Radio, where we are hyper believers, especially when it comes to like magic and chaos magic stuff, where you need to kind of create a story for yourself, right? But this is kind of during this travel, this is like her rejection of conventional domestic lifestyle. This is like her departing from public norms and the societal expectations that especially like women had in her class, where it's like she should have grown up to be this like governor's daughter, whatever this is, like this political whatever.
She just like left her husband and like wasn't like a mother wife.
So following the collapse of her marriage in 1849, Helena Blavatsky, or HPB, entered a prolonged and enigmatic period of travel that would later form the backbone. She has a bit of a backbone. She's a little bit. I think she's slim thick.
Yeah, she's large.
I mean,
I heard a description of her as like large in personality and stature.
One person,
she's a big Russian lady.
After like a sour meeting with her, called her like the Russian bear.
No, she's just a big, hardy, stout Russian woman.
She did put on a little more poundage later in life, but she always carried. That's what I'm saying. Like, she has this magnetism, but it's not like a regular like attractive
sexy
level. It's like something else about her is just intriguing. You know, I'd love to lay an eye on her and see what's going on.
Yeah,
but I would have fallen in love.
We gave her a fist
People
bump.
were like mailing her. She had a couple like reports in the news a little later on, and people are like mailing her like their confessions of love just from like reading about her. It's like crazy.
It's tapped in.
Yeah, she's tapped in. So, she's traveling roughly from the years of 1849 to 1873. All right, that's 24 years. She refers to them as her wandering years. 24 years. That's
a really interesting time in history too.
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's like, I always think, I don't know, anytime I learn about stuff around like that, like mid 1800s to like the 19th century, and like, I don't know, I always like take in like the Tartaria and like the mud flood stuff and like the like reset. Pretty sure something happened there. and there's people like her that like held on to it.
Some
and,
form
like,
of it.
was
She knew
keeping
something was off and like
Yeah,
went to
yeah.
try to gather all the information.
Yeah, because I think there was like still like in touch with this like magical power, basically, that I think it still exists, but I think it was like maybe not the information was accessible, but I think like it was just being practiced in like a more serious way.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Hard agree. So after leaving her husband, she returned briefly to her family before securing the funds for this independent travel, right? Which is pretty awesome for like a woman at the time. It's like just like deciding to journey abroad without protection from any fucking male escort, fuck all that, defying Russian aristocratic norms. She journeys. Her journeys first took her to Constantinople, Istanbul, and Greece, where she reportedly studied local magical traditions and folk beliefs. She is said to have developed an interest in the mysteries of ancient Greece and various strands of Christian mysticism practiced in the Eastern Orthodox world. Right, a lot of stuff she would be trying to pick up would be like the St. Anthony kind of stuff we were talking about. This Christian esotericism and mysticism that is like kind of not under the main umbrella of Christianity. She went to Egypt. She encountered practitioners of ceremonial magic and began her studies into Hermeticism and the Kabbalah at that point. She also spent time in Paris and London that were hubs at this time for the spiritualist movement and this occult revival of this like mid 19th century that was happening. Again, they're like bringing in this, there's finally enough movement within society where people can like go try to do a study on something. Obviously you're still in the middle of this like industrial shit, but it's all, there's room for the peasants to finally try to learn now.
Well, that's the thing too, is like there's the industrial stuff. People are like laboring plenty, but if you're like just above that, you were able to like go do this stuff.
Or at least try.
Yeah, you have the ability to be like, all right, I'm gonna like go do this.
She
'Cause,
definitely.
like, I feel like if she wasn't from like a wealthy family and she was like talking about psychic shit, at least in like the U.S. in that time, like you're going to the psych ward.
Which
you're gonna go get a lobotomy.
Which I mean, it'll probably take a few episodes, but we'll get to that point where we're talking about secret like agendas on that, and these training inside these facilities.
That's what I think. I still think like people with schizophrenia are like they're like tapped in and they like have like a wider lens of
just
reality.
Dialed way too high up, maybe.
Yeah, it's just way too high up, and they weren't like brought up in a way. It's usually like rough like lives they have, so they like don't know how to like deal with it. They're never like taught that, so they're just told they're crazy.
Pretty soon after this time period, we do have those goggles that they made with that specific glass that makes you see demons.
Yeah,
and, like everybody was reporting that, and everybody saw kind of the same things in the same areas.
Yep.
So I think
that's similar. Okay, in Vietnam, they were playing around with this like night vision, and they were like these. That's where like they're like, oh shit, like there's like a dragon flying behind us. These like demons flying around behind us, and they're like shooting. Like the gunman's like firing like crazy at this shit. And
maybe that'll be
that's when they got into like they like switched that and went to like the green one. It was like a red one.
Yeah.
It was like a red lens.
It's
and
a specific
we're never using that again.
Yeah.
We're never using that ever again.
Maybe that'll be one of the fluff episodes we throw in here just to break things up. Just this weird early demon hunting stuff. Right. So
I think there's something tied into it with all this, but it's like it's often its own little ledge.
So during that time in London, she likely encountered the works of Emanuel Swedenborg, Franz Mesmer, and Elphys Levi, all of whom influenced the broader esoteric currents that she would later integrate into Theosophy. Those are some great names to check on. They have their own.
Yep.
It's almost like how far back do we go? Do we just start with
these guys? There's infinite.
There's infinite. I think this is still a good anchor.
There's so many different angles. And
HPB.
Like, you keep going back. You keep going back. You keep going back. It's like, all right, well, she put a lot of this together.
She combined a lot of this stuff, right? Blavatsky's writings and later biographies claim that she traveled to India during the early 1850s, where she sought contact with practitioners of ancient spiritual disciplines. Right, this is where she picks up that Hinduism and Buddhism, and the idea of like hidden. This is where she really gets into the idea of these hidden brotherhoods.
Yeah,
and these like spiritual like adepts, these like masters. That's where she really gets into that sort of stuff. She kind of catches that idea.
The like monk monastery kind of stuff.
She returns to Russia periodically through the 1850s and 60s, but never stays long. She never actually goes back to her family.
During
that time, really. She went all to the east side of stuff. Now she travels to Mexico and South America, and also Canada, with brief stays in the United States. She went down through Texas and hung out down in the South America for a while. Again, like she's just picking stuff up from everywhere. She's grabbing these like mysticisms from South America.
The symbols she's coming in contact with, also. Yes. Like every one of these like things, they all have like unique, interesting like symbols, and she's just like.
She's collecting,
getting hit with all that stuff. Yeah, like now you like see that shit everywhere, but it's like
putting these patterns together because you'll see that these seem, and she sees that, and she's honestly like,
this is similar to this. This
put that together.
They use this cross here, and they use this for this, and this, like, they use a spiral here, but a swastika here.
You can't just go on Google back then and like see that. No. Like you have to be in person to see that. She's actually one of the first people to like gather that kind of information.
Yeah, because we walk around and like these symbols are also watered down at this point because they're just in everything, used however. But it's like, this like they were like, they were strong. You know what I mean? It was powerful.
She also during that time she tries to get into Tibet twice. She does make it eventually, but the first 2 times she's like thwarted by this border control and like taken away, which is very interesting. It kind of led to her like thinking of like you almost need like a certain like spiritual compass to be able to like get into this area and really see how it is, how you. And she does eventually make it, and apparently pulls some pretty insane stuff from these Tibetan lore, right? And
which they've always been like that. They've always just kind of had this like secret kind of like mystic vibe to Tibet.
Well, it's possible there's like some specific ley lines or like geological structures.
Well, I know too. It's like there's like it's like what it like Shambhala or whatever. Mm-hmm. Is like supposedly, it's like there's like a cave that goes down to it or something.
We covered it briefly on that Yeti episode a while back. Go check that one out if you're interested a little more. But like all this stuff deserves way more episodes. Just
very sacred place, powerful sacred place. Similar to like a lot of like the Middle East areas where it's like
it's old.
There's this ancient
old shit. Yeah,
ancient like sacred secrets.
I mean, she went and just absorbed as much as she could, right?
Yeah.
So between the 1850s and 60s, in the middle of her wandering years, that's where she kind of ends up in America for a while. That's where she gets kind of introduced to this spiritualist movement, where she encounters these seances, these trance mediums, like table rap, literally like knocking on tables and stuff. That is like all capturing the public's attention. Blavatsky ends up attending some of these and even and participates in these events once in a while, and even develops her own like perspective, which is extremely critical. She's like she's like for real. So when she sees shit that isn't like on the up and up, she'll call it out.
She's like, you're faking this. Why are you fooling?
Yeah, she just claimed that many mediums were genuine, but others did rely on like trickery and like production value, right? Unlike the spiritualists, she argued that such phenomena were not proof of communication with the dead, but manifestations of latent psychic forces within living human beings, as well as influences from non-human spiritual entities. She did a lot of work with elementals, which I love bringing all that stuff up.
That reminds me, like her talking about like the human psyche, reminds me of, it's like Carl Jung kind of shit, where he's like, this stuff is just like a projection of the human psyche, all this paranormal stuff, which isn't necessarily wrong, but it doesn't mean it's like not real. You know what I mean? Like,
it's totally like Eighth Tower stuff, where the viewer becomes part of the experience, and you're not like summoning it into reality, but you're kind of one of the
connecting.
You're one of these connecting forces,
like
right?
Witnessing it means you're like
completing
part
the
of
circuit.
It.
Yes, yeah, that's what it is.
And just like there's like these things, these symbols too, like that are in your psyche as a human baseline that like need to get projected out, and then once you like connect with them, you start being able to like
work with those things.
Use whatever part of your psyche that's connected with like all humans, you like get that like the ability, the power or whatever of like, it's like basically breaking out of the Matrix when like Neo, they're like moving the spoon and shit. It's like, oh, I can just like move this. Mm-hmm. Oh, stop.
I'm just gonna move that around. Like, we see that. Yeah, there's accounts of her like moving cups around the table when she's a kid into adulthood. We will now when the spiritualist movement kind of gets going more, we see that she has to kind of become a part of it to push her own doctrine, her own ideas. She kind of gets put in this bag, and she has to support some stuff that she doesn't fully believe in.
Yep. Which I think a lot happens to most people, whether they admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there's never like a full encompassing like system, because there's always like these other factors that kind of like center, kind of neuter your own ideas.
She was getting
influenced,
soured on people asking her to do it, and then like she generally could do stuff on command, but it's like you get this whole group of people in front of you. I think it almost saps some of that psychic energy you have. People wanting this thing that isn't necessary for them. It kind of kills the magical vibe, right?
And it's like it's one of those things too. It's like all right, you just want this to happen for like why? It's the same as like a lot of like
for entertainment, and it's like, well, then that kills the magic.
Yeah, it's the same. Like, I mean, when people are like, "Oh, if God's real, then like, if God's real, like God, if you're real, do this for me." And it's like, well, that's not the point of this. It's like, why do you like? That's not like what. That's not
very well put. I like that. That's not
the point of this.
Not
guys.
the point of this.
Like, it's not like just like wish for this and you get it. Like, like you need. Yeah, like you're doing this so you have like proof that this exists, but it's like no, it's not like the reason for doing it.
You need to go searching for it. You can't ask for it. You got to go searching for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't just like ask for everything to be handed to you, because then you're just missing out on the actual experience of what it is and like the depth of it. Otherwise, if you just ask for like, oh, do this, it's like, well, you're just like asking for a show.
Yeah,
you're just looking for magic.
And that ain't gonna work.
That's just illusion.
That ain't gonna work. Swords don't like that. I don't.
Yeah, think, right? That doesn't help anybody.
So she begins to kind of form this network of like every kind of magic person, occultists, mystics, initiates, ranging from like the Coptic magicians of Egypt to Freemasons to Rosicrucianists, to Kabbalists of Europe. Right. She's gaining knowledge from everybody and keeping a lot of notes, a lot of journals on this stuff. She's writing everything down. She has a memory that was likened to Nikola Tesla. Like she has an insane recall. So you're right. She's seeing these symbols in one area of the world, and she is definitely writing it down, jotting everything down, but she just will look at it in a different place of the world, and she will immediately know, and she'll know the connections because she knows the magical connections between these things. So yeah, she like that's another thing where she did just have this crazy retention. So all these studies are like, you know, I think some people could go out on this journey and not pick anything up that lasted. This is like she is stacking this knowledge every step of the way. She has that like genius like thing in her brain. She does. Her association with occult orders, whether formal or informal, gave her all this credibility and later like some controversy as she's like kind of in these opposing groups and stuff. By the time she began writing and lecturing publicly in the 1870s, Blavatsky had woven these travels into a compelling narrative, right? This is where she's telling her own story again. She had been chosen by a secret brotherhood of enlightened beings to serve as the emissary to in the modern world. The Mahatmas, she said, were guardians of humanity's ancient wisdom, preserving knowledge of the true nature of reality and guiding human evolution from behind the scenes. This is where she said she basically pulls this from some Akashic record type place. Yeah. She's doing these kind of deep meditations and finding getting the downloads, ancient truths from these like primordial beings, these people that she says are still around but have been here for all time. These elementals, right?
There's like these gods, angels, demons, whatever you want to call them.
So this is then we get some of her followers at this point, which she doesn't have a ton of followers, but these people that are at least reading into her stuff. Some of them are saying, okay, these are all like inventions of herself. Most people at this time are like, these seem like flesh and blood like movements. These are like these people that these hidden masters, these ascended masters seem to be extreme adepts living in like remote regions in Central Asia, probably that you know, they're either symbolic archetypes or physical beings. I think it's somewhere in the middle, right? It's like what we're saying here with a lot of this.
It's like when like you ever have like a strange interaction with someone, like some stranger comes up and says something like weird, specific, and then it's like, I don't know if that was
it's like that was like some spirit guide.
Yeah, that was like some like someone from like the future and past. And it's like it might be that kind of a thing where she, you know, she's on these travels, comes in contact with someone, sits and like talks with them, learns this stuff, and then it's like there's just no record of them ever existing though.
Yeah,
they're secret.
And that is so. Now we're in about 1873. She's in New York City now. She's kind of in this time period. It's kind of the turning point of her life and like the history of Western esotericism in general, as this spiritualist movement there's like a huge surge in public interest for it. As we're saying, it's this fringe phenomena that is becoming this massive movement, and obviously there's all kind of swindlers in there. It kind of emerged in the 40s, right?
Just something that's like, it's something that like has always like resonated with people.
These at this time, now that there's like some industrial stuff moving on, Americans are open to this like unconventional religious ideas. At least like a small sect of them. There isn't this and insane like religious, like, I don't know, tyranny over everything at some point. I understand America was built to like hold any religion, but it obviously was built on Christianity, which can have some downsides as well.
That's like why it like could take off so well in the US, because it's like freedom of religion. It's like, well, we have the freedom to like look into this stuff, because it's like, it was maybe like you couldn't when it was like Puritans and shit, like 13 colonies, they'd like burn witches and shit, but it's like they're way past that at this point.
At least here in like the Americas at that time they were, right? In some places in America, I mean, you get down to some,
I mean, you get like socially, not like, you know, people like ostracize you, but it's like,
in this time when she's in America now, she checks out some there's like some Native American teachings that she digs into, and then she goes down to New Orleans and gets some like voodoo magic push into her. But she does believe that's mostly like black magic and didn't really want to work in those circles, but she did need to absorb the knowledge at least, right?
Yeah, go check it out.
This is also when she kind of came out with the stated mission of fulfilling a task given to her by the Mahatma teachers, which was to form an organization that would introduce ancient Eastern wisdom to the West and counteract what she saw as the materialism and dogmatism of contemporary science and religion. She's trying to bring this old magic back. This is like what she's like publicly stating now.
The like hermetic principles.
And so now she's like, okay, how do I do this? She doesn't love like cults or like groups of people and all this stuff, but she's like, I do need to found something. I need to create something that people can learn from and walk behind, right?
Gotta like create the school.
Yes. October 1874, she meets Henry Steele Olcott. He's a Civil War veteran. That's the time period we're dealing with right now. A lawyer, a journalist, and during an investigation of the Eddy brothers, she met him during an investigation of the Eddy brothers, a pair of Vermont mediums. We'll talk about the Eddy brothers a little later. It's pretty tragic, actually. But he was kind of on the trail of trying to bust like mediums and stuff, right? Henry Olcott, impressed by Blavatsky's knowledge and charisma, quickly became her closest collaborator. Their meeting was pivotal. Olcott organizational skills complemented Blavatsky's visionary leadership, right? She needed this person that would do all the bureaucratic side of stuff. Together they would found a new movement, right? Olcott later wrote that Blavatsky seemed to possess extraordinary psychic abilities, often producing phenomena such as materializing objects or unexplained sounds in his presence. She'd like summon shit up once in a while. One of those, you know? It's and that reminds me of very briefly when we talked about Austin Osman Spare, who came up, I think, just a little later on than this, but he was like trying to materialize stuff all the time. He brought that elemental into the world for a while or something.
Yeah, something was like mid-materializing.
He like tried to summon a rose and got covered in shit that one time. That was like a pretty funny story, talking about like
ironic.
The irony of it. All kinds of stuff. He also
that's that classic. You know, is like you ask God for flowers and he gives you rain. It's like you ask for a rose, you're gonna get shit.
Yeah,
get poop. It's like, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
You can't put on a show with it. That's
not a genie.
Really tough, right? Yeah.
God ain't no genie.
She let's see. By 1875, Blavatsky had established herself in New York's occult and spiritualist circles. Very cool. Hanging out in New York in 1875 with like the occult guys.
Very cool.
Dude, I'll have to show you some pictures a little later of some of these guys because they look cool as hell.
Everyone looks so cool.
They're like goths in the 1800s.
Well, that's one thing I really wish like we could just bring back of like the way people just were dressing then, and then throw your own little style on top of that is awesome. So
fucking
cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Get hats and coats and fucking.
I like that.
Trousers. My trousers on.
She began publishing articles on esoteric subjects, emphasizing supernatural phenomena being governed by natural laws unknown to contemporary science. So again, she's like, This is not like, she's like, this is magic, but it's kind of just out of reach science too. It's like, if we could just understand it, she's trying to give,
these are just like laws
trying
of
to give
reality.
you the ways to understand it, right?
Yeah.
She's blending this mysticism with the language of rational inquiries, right? So she's able to attract an audience beyond the typical spiritualist crowd. She's kind of grabbing at these people that are more like, they're contemporary thinkers. They're just like figuring out how the world works, but they're not like ghosts are real. You know, they're kind of this other person, right? On September 7th, 1875, this is just less than a year after meeting Occult, they both, Blavatsky and Occult and several associates meet at an apartment of lawyer William Q. Judge in New York City. The meeting began as a lecture by occultist George H. Felt on ancient Egyptian magic and the Kabbalah. Inspired by the discussion, the group dedicated to form a society dedicated to the systematic study of occult science, comparative religion, and development of human spiritual potential. So that organization, nice, that's cool. Getting together with a group of people being like, we got to teach magic.
We gotta get these
Giving
guys.
a fucking PowerPoint in 1875 about Egyptian magic is so
These guys
sick.
are going to need to know this.
Right? The organization was formally named the Theosophical Society on November 17th, 1875. Occult became its first president. Judge served as a recording secretary, and Blavatsky took no formal office at that time, but was definitely recognized as his central guiding influence.
Great part of
right?
it.
Yeah. This Theosophical Society is literally still happening today.
Nice.
It's like still a thing based on those principles. Their early objectives were to form a nucleus. This is the that like statement I was saying earlier. They wanted to form a nucleus of the universal brotherhood of humanity without distinction of race, creed, sex, caste, or color.
Yeah.
Sweet. 1875. That's pretty awesome. To encourage the comparative study of religion, philosophy, and science. Right, so they're like, we got to cross-reference this stuff. It's all saying the same
we
thing.
need everyone to come together for
Why
this.
are these all the same story, right?
Yeah.
To investigate unexplained laws of nature and the powers latent in humanity.
Yeah.
Sick organization.
Yeah.
That's a good. And the 1875, just pulling this one out. You have like some like Civil War vets in there with you. You're like,
all right,
we
guys.
need to uplift spiritual.
All right, guys. Yeah, let's go.
Blavatsky insisted that theosophy was not a religion, but a synthesis of truth from all traditions, aiming to uncover the universal principles underlying spiritual experience. So you actually can be a theosophist without having this other religion.
It's just like a
way of thinking, really.
Yeah, it's just knowledge.
It's just knowledge.
It's how I think of like the Kabbalah, where it's like these like it's pretty like just cut and dry. It's not like one direction or the other. It's like this is just how things work, and it's like ancient knowledge, but it's like we're starting to like prove it with science now. Like,
but at that time when that was written by the Golden Dawn, I believe, right? Or is it the
something maybe?
I believe they're the three initiates of the Golden Dawn.
Yeah,
I know, like that was one of the withheld books from the general public for a while.
Yeah,
this kind of stuff. Like it's nice to have it just on the.
It's something like because there's like vibrations, like everything's vibrating, everything has like a frequency, and it's like we just recently have like figured that out.
Mm-hmm. That's it. We'll get
you know
it.
what I mean? There's
that
like
deserves its own.
Because that also just has like there's like you use that in like the same sense. You have to like know these things and understand them to like do alchemy and like magic.
It gives you like some
because there's like balances,
right?
There's polarity, there's like there's gender to it, there's vibration. Like it's like the like rule book.
It's just one of the key. It's another key to use, right? It's something else that helps supplement other works, and that's the thing. It's like some works seem to be like the actual magical teachings, and some are like this is the key to learn that, and you need to like absorb.
Like, you need to understand these like baseline principles, these baseline rules, so like you even understand what is being talked about.
Blavatsky is one of the first Western audiences to to bring to Western audiences the concepts of like karma. Reincarnation and like all life unity kind of stuff. This like ideas drawn from Hinduism, Buddhism that she kind of that she got when she like contacted these hidden masters, right? When she like absorbed this information. But again, it's like if you're out here doing yoga, it's like I mean it would have got here somehow or whatever, but it's like she was one of these founding players in how you just like bringing this Eastern philosophy in 1875 to literally 100 years after America's founded, essentially on Christianity. They're like, here's this Eastern stuff though, like that can be a little sketchy. So it's cool that she's just out here pumping it, right?
Oh yeah.
The society began to attract committed followers and also like critics of everything, right? With the skeptics of the spiritualist community accused Blavatsky of fraud, all these like that she has some sort of like production going on with the paranormal phenomena. Classic. Religious authorities began condemning her for promoting pagan ideas and undermining Christian orthodoxy.
Nice. Classic.
All that's happening, yet her personal magnetism and intellectual reach keep this organization growing. By the late 1870s, the society has established branches in several American cities and began to attract attention overseas. Even to create a society in that time that would be like worldwide, is insane.
Have that reverberation throughout.
Yeah, like okay. In 1877, Blavatsky published her first major work, Isis Unveiled, a 2-volume synthesis of comparative religion, occult science, and philosophical commentary. The book critiques both dogmatic religion and materialistic science, while asserting that the existence of an ancient universal wisdom of like tradition. There's something that is binding all of us, this ancient wisdom, right? Isis Unveiled brought her national fame and notoriety, right? Critics are dismissing it as being weird and chaotic, but it's like people are loving it. It's this blend of like scholarship, like scholarliness, like speculation, and occult revelations that is like her, like this her entire style is totally unique to her at this time. You know,
it's a new thing.
It's easy to like think about this stuff now, and it's like, oh yeah, that all connects. It's obvious. It's like she was putting these pieces together. These pieces were. It wasn't
so before. You're not like getting hit with it constantly and like everything.
It's she put in the work to figure
literally
this
her
out.
whole life was like studying all this stuff and like just remembering it.
Yeah. By 1878, Blavatsky and Occult were planning to relocate the Theosophical Society's headquarters to India, believing that direct engagement with Eastern tradition would deepen their work and validate their teachings. I don't think she actually does that. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, I'm totally wrong. Because she tries to get back into Tibet pretty soon. I'm trying to lay out where this is. So now we're in 1878. Helena Blavatsky and Henry Steele Occult believed their mission could no longer be confined to just the United States. They were hearing these rumblings from overseas, right? They're like, people want to know about this shit. Blavatsky maintained that her Mahatma teachers had instructed her to move the society to the east, where the ancient wisdom she sought to revive was still practiced in its original cultural context.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it might be a little easier. The pair formally dissolved their American residency and secured traveling arrangements, and in December of 1878 departed from New York to India via England. They were accompanied by a small group of members, including William Quan Judge, that's that other guy, who would later lead the American section of the society. The journey itself was notable for Blavatsky's ongoing claims of correspondence with the Mahatmas, even during transit. So she's like talking about she's getting this straight up spirit guide. Like she's just getting channeled. She's just getting the download. They do. Let's see. They stop in London. She deals with some spiritual circles there that are like. They seem to like attach to her more. They think that she's. The visit helped plant the seed for later establishment of the British section of the Theosophical Society. She's like everywhere she goes now, she's like collecting people in that area that will then later be able to grow this
finding disciples.
Right, exactly. These magical disciples. They arrive in Bombay in February 1879. They were warmly received by local reformist groups, particularly Arya Samaj, a Hindu reform movement formed by Swami Dayananda Saraswati. At first, the society and Samaj shared a vision of reviving ancient spiritual truths, opposing Western materialism, but the alliance broke when there was differences in their doctrines. You know what I mean? It's classic. Like, honestly, this guy probably had a ton of info about like specifically Buddhist and Hindu tradition, but I feel like at this point, Blavatsky had actually absorbed more information than him, and so she might have had a grander picture.
Yeah, just different perspectives outside of it.
Different perspectives, right? While they were there in Bombay, they established a printing operation and launched the Theosophist magazine in October of 1879. Became their voice and how they would get their word out about it to the public. They had articles of everything that she covered, from Eastern philosophy, occult science, reports of the society's movements in the world. Kind of sick. At this point, it's December 1882, and the Theosophical Society relocates its headquarters from Bombay to Adyar near what is now Chennai. I don't even know where that is, honestly. It's somewhere in the east. The Adyar estate, set along the Adyar River and shaded by large banyan trees, provided both a tranquil retreat and symbolic center for the movement. This expansion goes on to include India, Sri Lanka, we have Burma, different regions over there. She's begun interacting with more intellectuals from that place, including Alan Octavian Hume, who's a co-founder of the Indian National Congress, connecting into these like theosophical circles. And she just begins like teaching these like beliefs, right? At the same time, there's like growing tension, fucking cultural resistance, colonial suspicions, and internal disputes are all over the place now because the society is growing, and she doesn't fucking like society. Like she likes being a part of it, and she likes that there is these groups of knowledgeable people, but it's like not what she's there for.
It becomes like too much, because then you're just like colonizing now. You read this group, you're like, all right, we're gonna go to this other country and just like start taking over. We're just like rich Westerners coming over. Like, well, fuck this, actually.
At some point in around 84, there's a whole thing I'm going to kind of skip over here where this Christian college magazine and these missionaries just try to like disprove her on every level. Yeah. And she has to pull some semi shady shit to be like, get the point across, you know, just like doing what she's got to do. But she ends up kind of under fire for a while, and in an effort to clear her name, the Theosophical Society invites the Society for Psychical Research in London to investigate all these charges, right? Richard Hodgson is appointed this person that would come to do this, this Cambridge scholar, right? He goes to India and spent several months interviewing witnesses, and So here's the report that he says in December 1885, published in the Hodgson Report. The Mahatma letters were likely written by Blavatsky's own handwriting and produced under her direct supervision. So again, it just I don't even need to get into it, right? The different. He's just talking about psychical trickery, right? There's like a lot of criticism on that. Hodgson relied heavily on testimony from hostile witnesses, is the thing. Yeah, he's over there, but that's like. So that's her trip to India. She's setting this stuff up. She has the different societies that are all built out there. She returns to Europe, and then she begins writing the Secret Doctrine. And I think at this point, we're going to call this an episode. And we're going to call the next one part 2 on this, because she's just getting started in her actual magical workings in the framework. Now that she has these societies built out, she's now going to write her magnum opus and gets into all kinds of shit, all kinds of magical workings, basically. So,
I'm starting to understand why the Desert Fathers went off just on their own. Because once you get like a society, that's like when you really start getting into trouble.
And I think
people really start coming for you.
Yes. I think she knew that. So, I hope everybody's enjoyed episode 100. I know it was just like, it's a lot. I know this was a lot. Yeah. But I think it's an important base to go off of as we kind of crawl up through history. Yeah. There's just a lot of different things going on. I need to this is like the movement of all this, right? These are like these magical societies now coming into the public eye.
Because it gets its own like attack and ridicule like later on in like the mid 1900s. Like, oh, that's like kooky, whatever shit. But like, the people that are actually like powerful are like fully know that this is like real.
Yes, they do. That's why
it's like it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not, because like they do, and it's working.
That's why she gets pushed around, you know.
Yeah,
she gets pushed around quite a lot. But yeah, when we come back next week, we will talk about. She has a trip to Egypt. She sets up a new society there. She's all these dealings. She begins all these different works. We're gonna get into all of it. Should be even more exciting, honestly. She has some cool shit going on. Hope you all have enjoyed this. This is the first leg of a very large.
Yeah, we got a lot coming.
A very large road ahead. I'm very excited about it. And like I said, every episode should basically be self-contained. If there's we're gonna do like probably an actual part 2 on this. Probably listen to part 1 first. You know, we'll see where that even leaves us. Because like I said, I want to cover some other basically wizards of the time.
We can also get into like a part 2 and then just like go from there.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, like get into
drop directly into like an Aleister Crowley thing because her teachings directly affected him.
Yeah.
I think this is just this is the person that did this. She brought
we can go.
She
we can
brought
go,
Eastern philosophy to America and the West.
Yeah,
it's a very important figure.
Aleister Crowley, Hitler.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stops on the
connections.
way here. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I sent Dawson like a huge list of like connections that we'll have to explore, find out how they intertwine correctly. The research will be ongoing. I just wanted to be able to mostly reference stuff in previous episodes if we needed to without it being like totally unlearned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you all have enjoyed this. This is episode 100. What else, Doss? Check out the website, pumpkinhillradio.com. Oh, that's how you email us. Pumpkinhillradio.com is how you find all of our socials. You can find links to go everywhere, listen anywhere, watch our YouTube. We're on video this whole time. We have a movie going in between us for you to watch.
Yeah, it's Leon the Professional, or just the Professional, or just Leon.
And yeah,
it's like 4 different names for this one movie.
Yes, we thought we were in a Mandela effect for a second before the beginning of the episode,
which I think is still probably what it is. I think that's actually what it is. I think that's a cover story.
What else here? We got our merch up now.
Yeah.
You can grab the link. It should be in the description, but it's also just the merch link on our website. Get some good quality merch. It feels great on you.
I'm gonna start wearing it on Pod.
Yeah, we got to get.
I'll wear my new shirt on Pod soon. I'm washing it right now. It's in the washing machine, or it's in the dryer right now. I haven't put it away.
Well, I think we're about to close out here, and I did promise everybody.
What's it gonna be?
Closeout phrase. So
put a lot of pressure on yourself.
Yeah,
I think it's only you putting it on you.
Super rough.
I don't know if anyone else really.
I'm gonna say I need a couple more episodes to
figure
it out. All right. For now.
All right, maybe by
goodbye.
200. Bye.
Yeah, maybe by 200 we'll get it. All right. I wasn't ready.
I'm all out of hope. One more bad break could bring the fall. When I'm far from home, don't call me on the phone to tell me you're alone. It's easy to deceive, it's easy to tease, but hard to get release. Play a song facade, eyes without a face. Sound visage, eyes without a face. Sound visage, eyes without a face. Got no human grace. Your eyes without a face. I spent so much time believing all the lies to keep the dream alive. Now it makes me sad, it makes me mad at truth for loving what was you. Eyes without a face, sans visage. Eyes without a face, sans visage. Eyes without a face, got no human race. Your eyes without a face.